Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at another product from Ccz. That little like heartbeat logo right there. This one's the Emerald. Now they do have a melody and a coffee bean. The coffee bean being the cheapest of the bunch at like $19.99. This one is I think around 25, 23, and so is the melody. Um, Originally the plume was like a more upscale budget. It was in like the $130 range or something like that, close to 200. I think it's come down. um and these guys are in the budget range. They're all below $30. Looking at this, it is really nice looking. You get a choice of green or blue. I got the blue, and we'll go into the more build and comfort and everything in just a few minutes. Let's actually get a little bit more close up there of everything. The box is simple, as you expect from a budget. I am looking at the box. I don't know if there's anything of note on the box. Um, is that a picture of a battery? No. Okay. There's nothing really on the box other than the specs on the back, which is right here. And we'll get into that in just a second. As a matter of fact, we'll do that right now. I got it up on my board here. Let's see the specs. We have a dynamic driver, a 10 millimeter. That would explain the very good low end on these. It's dual magnetic, similar to what you would find in TFZ, a brand that I really should get more stuff from because I really liked them. I have the Galaxy 1S, the special edition in white that you got from Drop. And I actually like those. Now, there's nothing spectacular, like they're the best thing in the universe, but they just really are pleasant. Getting into these, you got that dual magnetic 10 millimeter driver. You have a balanced armature driver, which is a custom driver from them, and they do make balanced armature drivers. So if you were to look at this and say, oh, that's not a name brand, it is a name. It's them. They make their own. They make them for other companies as well. They have for a long time, and now they're branching into actually making their own IMs. And they're doing a good job. Frequency response is a standard 2020, so 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Colors available, like I said, green or blue. This is the blue. It's kind of like a light powder blue. The connector is a 2-pin 0.78 millimeter. Very common, easy to find another cable for it. The cable terminates to an L-shaped 3.5 millimeter. It's an OFC cable. The length is 1.2 meters, which is pretty standard. The impedance of these is only 16 ohms. So it would be what you'd call a really sensitive IM. 16 ohms, and the sensitivity itself is 110 decibels. Easy to drive from your phone or any mobile device, computer, you name it. You don't need to carry around a amplifier or a Bluetooth amplifier, something like this. A Bluetooth amplifier like the iFi Go Blue here, or have a big unit, or even just a mobile player like this would be perfect. It would work just fine on that. And of course your phone. And of course it was tested. We have a different phase testing. Now we test with mobile devices. We start off actually with YouTube videos, then we move into Spotify, QBiz, and then we use our FLAC files and DSD files. I don't actually own any MQA files at the time, but I am getting some because all these players support MQA, and even though I'm not really into MQA that much, I mean, I find DSD and FLAC perfect. Even high bit rate MP3s are perfect. They're good. As a matter of fact, I have literally almost 1,000 recorded MP3s at the highest rate. I do use those quite a bit too, but of course we want to go into higher res, so I do end up doing the FLAC files and the DSD files and the high res streaming services. like Tidal and Cubase, and Amazon Music is another one I've been getting into. The Apple using as well. So we do a lot of different things, starting from very low quality, bass boosted stuff like the regular uh, Spotify and of course YouTube video, and then we move on up to more higher things to see what the changes are. And the reason why we do that, because there are a lot of people that are still like, they watch their videos on YouTube, or they watch movies on different services like that, and I want to hear the differences between it before I make a decision between low quality and high quality. Okay, so moving out of the way. So they're very easy to drive, and we're going to get a look at them in just a minute. Let's see. Sound, we'll get into that in just a few seconds. Okay. All right, so let's look at the product. Now this is metal, this back plate right here, and it does have a gloss to it. I don't know if you can see the shine in it, but yeah, right there, there is a gloss to it. I know it looks powdery because it's a kind of a powder coated paint looking, something like you would find on like an automotive type paint. It's very nice actually. There's your connector. The nozzle on this is really good. There's a mesh filter right there. There's not much blocking between the sound coming up the tube. You see that big old driver right there. And the nozzle is pretty big. I know a lot of people have problems with shorter nozzles, and of course that affects isolation depending on your ear shape and everything, and the tips that you're using. This one has a neat feature that I really haven't seen. There are a lot of these duck shapes, as you see when you put it like this. It kind of looks like a duck with the tail. But there are none that use this. This is a nice soft rubberized material. And that just gives it a little bit more comfort, a little bit better seal and fit in your ear. It holds in your ear better, especially if you're sweating or something. And the little Ccz logo, if you can see that right there. Overall, the build quality in these, very good. I mean, if these were twice the price, I would still say the build quality is very good. Now, ergonomics on these and comfort are really great. I know it's just a generalized shape. It's not like a custom, but it fits in my ears really well, and I like the nozzle. It just gets right in there and allows you to have some good isolation as well. So, the sound quality. Now, these have the balanced armature, and that does a very good job with upper mids and treble, and there's some sufficient detail there. Now the mids are a little relaxed on this. You're not going to accuse this of being overly detailed, but it still has a nice, pleasant tonality to the mids. The highs, do not overdo it. Honestly, there is a nice top end there. There is some sparkle there, but it is more subdued and more polite tuning with it. So you do get some nice details up there, and you do get some sparkle, but it never gets to a point where it's splashy, harsh, tinny, kind of a metallic sounding that just makes me cringe sometimes. Now, the mids are good. You're going to find the mids pleasant. If you're buying this for something that's like really detailed, maybe because you think that the balanced armature is going to give you a lot of detail, this is not a detailed type. This is the fun type. It's kind of more musical. It definitely has a nice low end to it. I wouldn't say it's overly boomy, the low end. It has some decent deep end bass. but it's far from fatiguing. The whole thing of this is kind of on the relaxed side, something that you can listen to for a long time. This is something that you would be good for working out or traveling or something, because you're getting some really good isolation with these. You're getting some nice lower end. You're getting comfortable highs, very relaxed mids. That has some nice warmth to them. The highs, are relaxed, but there is a detail as well. And soundstage, of course, is very good. It certainly does have a decent amount of soundstage there, probably adequately equal in depth and width, but overall it was decent. And honestly, thinking about these are really pleasant sounding IMs. There's nothing about them that screams like get this over something else. But if you want something that's built really well, extremely comfortable, has some very good isolation, and just basically is like a jack of all trades, this would be the one, because this is decent. Now, I haven't tried the Melody. I don't know what the differences are between the two. But for me, I really like this, and I like the look of it, and I like the build, and I like the comfort of this. And there are quite a few in this price range. And I would say there are quite a few things about this that kind of put it above some of the others, that have a balanced armature and a dynamic driver. I like this definitely better than the ZSN Pro. Totally. I would put this far above that. As a matter of fact, it seems like it should be in a different price range altogether from anything like that. I'm trying to think of something else that I have in that price range. Any of the dynamic driver balanced armatures. This one is pretty good. It's safely tuned, and I think that it would be liked by a vast variety of people for that being that safely tuned sound that never gets harsh, never gets fatiguing, but yet you get your bass, you get your highs, you get some decent mids there. It's not the best at anything, but it's really good. It would make a really good travel companion. The only caveat, it comes with 3 different size tips. The tips are actually decent. They're right here. Pretty good tips. Most people usually replace those because they have the specific ones that they like. I would definitely recommend replacing the cable. While it isn't bad, it does get tangled. I mean, if you have CCAA and KZ and stuff like that, KB Air, you know what the cables are like. You're gonna probably want to get another replacement cable eventually. Most people do. They like to customize, and of course, that's going to customize the sound a little bit. So be careful with your choices for cable for this. Um, and tips, of course. I mean, the simplest way to change the sound is change the cable, change the tips, and you have a completely different sounding thing. Whether that's a good thing or not, remember you can go either way. You can buy a cable that is absolutely horrible with this, or you can get a cable that actually emphasizes it or fixes anything about it that you didn't like. Just remember that. So just looking at these again, the build, I like the build. I like the look of these. Overall, I mean, there's nothing like super exciting about these. Like the plume was like really fancy looking with its gold and its 2 different finishes on it and everything. But overall, these look decent. They're lightweight, by the way. It's not going to feel heavy in your ears. So overall, if you're looking for something that's comfortable, that does a really nice job, that's very pleasant, has a musicalness to it, musicality, it has nice bass, it has nice thing. It is far from balanced and detailed. It is a nice V-shaped, probably what I would call a mature V-shaped signature, and it does a decent job. So I will find a link down below for these. I got these from Keep Hi-Fi, and I'll leave a link to them. Just looking at the things, I didn't miss any of the specs or any of the key features with this. It is just overall pleasant. I mean, I'm going to keep these out actually. A lot of times these get put away or, for testing later on or something like that. And these I'm going to keep out because these really, I can see these traveling with me. Even if it's just as a backup pair, I can definitely see these traveling with me because they don't do anything wrong, to be quite honest. Ccz Emerald. Thanks so much. I hope this video was informative, and please be safe out there. Thank you.